Okay, how is it going, everybody? Give everybody a few minutes. Sorry we're late. We had some technical issues. And Corey should be here soon. And I am at my parents' house. Those are all the things you needed to know so that we could get started today. Okay. Cool. We're live. We are live. Hey, we're live.
Cool. All right.
So give everybody a minute or so, if you don't mind saying hello so that we know what's going on and that you guys are here. There's only 2 people and I'm one of them. Cool.
How are we doing? Have we figured out the audio situation?
Yep, it was Keith's fault.
Oh, all right.
Yep. Simple fix.
Cool.
Blame Keith.
No need to blame. I'm glad to.
I switched through 17 different pairs of headphones thinking it was my fault on my end.
You sound good now, so everything's working.
These are a lot better. What's up, guys? How's it going, Nick? How's it going, Jeff? These just for some reason are so much better than AirPods when it connects. Something about the Bluetooth I just think loses complete quality, and it's not worth the convenience of taking this away. Oh, thank you for doing that. I was not ready this morning.
What's up, Nick, Jeff, Eric? Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
How is it going, guys? Hope you guys are well. Okay, we've got a few people here. As you guys know or may not know, we have Keith Wilson on today, so we'll get going with that and we'll get started with the show. We're going to dig into a little bit about becoming better creators.
Cool.
We should have been recording the whole screen to cut out Keith's dancing in the background. Always got to be ready to grab content when it's there. I was just looking through some of the shows, and a show from a few days ago, for whatever reason, is almost up to 400 views.
Cool.
For both of us, it's one of the highest shows it's ever been. Something cool is seeing the growth over time. And I think it'll lead into a little bit about being a creator, because you and I talk about almost the pain of the show, of what it's like creating it, producing it, and nobody else on the outside feels any of that stuff. You know, they just show up and get to enjoy the show. But it's nice to sit there and actually go back and realize and see that growth and feel that growth, feel the attention, getting the messages and all that stuff. It's been
that's good topical conversation to have with Keith at some point too, because it's like you shared with me last night. The audience sitting out in the front row and 10th row, watching the play, they feel the performance, but they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and that's the chaos and stringing everything together and getting the next set ready and all that. So that could be an interesting conversation to have with Keith as well.
I completely agree. I'm excited to have Keith back on. As I named him, veteran of the show, been on a few times. We obviously are always talking to Keith, learning from Keith in terms of his process, how he makes content, how engaging it is and entertaining. And I'm excited to bring him on and ask him, a little bit of those things that you were mentioning, like how you get started, how you dig into something like that, and how you get better at it. So yeah. Without further ado, Mr. Keith Wilson.
Good morning.
Welcome.
I was digging your intros, the Zach.
Yeah. It's good,
Love
right?
It.
Yeah.
You got that for free. I paid him for my intro.
Really?
Ooh.
Because yes, he deserved it.
Yeah, you're right. We should have paid him, and we didn't.
Well,
Zach gets his value.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't know you got an intro from Zach.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
For my movie clips that I do.
Yeah.
That Financial Guy Productions, I said, I want to go with this, and I want to do it right. I have to worry about copyright stuff, and we went back and forth with a few. I wanted the DreamWorks with a guy on the moon, the little boy on the moon, that kind of dreamy thing, dun 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 dun. And then he sent me something that sounded like RuneScape. You remember a RuneScape game?
I do.
And then I switched gears. I said, boom, the THX thing.
Yeah.
Keith, just a side note, did you happen to know that he made the beats because of the name when we put it in the intro for ours?
I knew before that. I think he did a video or maybe he posted a picture. This is what I like to do. Yeah. I kind of knew that way, but I really knew when he helped you guys out.
Yeah. That's how we found out too. We saw the same picture you did. Where
I said, copyright issues, and I mean, he sent me a contract, copyright. You're free. Do anything you want with it.
Awesome.
Nice. That's cool. Great.
He wanted 20.
Too, yeah.
I'll tell you. He wanted $20. I said, come on, man. Come on, man. Let me pay you $100 for that.
Well, that's nice of you. And I guess I'll dig into one question. Adding music, getting into the production. One of the biggest things I think of content creation is like those layers you add on. I mean, when did you start? How many years have you been doing this?
On social media, I think it was late 2018, early 2019, and I mean. My assistant said, you got to do videos. And then you see all the marketers, go to do videos. You got to do videos. I said, all right. And so I had my iPhone in my office, and I literally taped it to my computer monitor as a tripod and just pressed play. And I'm like, told a little stupid story. It took me like 4 hours to do a 20-second little thing, because you didn't know what you were doing. And then, you progress and you got better at it. But that's for social media. I mean, I used to do editing. I got a broadcast engineer degree from UNCG. I wanted to be in TV behind the scenes. And I used to edit all the time, home movies and all kinds of stuff. But that was way back in the day with VHS. I was editing with 2 VHS recorders.
Nice.
And I had a little mixer between the two where I could splice it. And then, that went away a long time ago. And, I just picked this up, and I wanted to do something different other than just sitting in an office and, hi, I'm Keith Wilson. Let's talk about Roth conversions. So I wanted to spice it up a little bit.
When you started a couple of years ago, you say social media. I'm assuming we're talking LinkedIn, or are we talking Facebook? Instagram?
LinkedIn and Facebook. I was never on social media until a few years ago. I didn't even have a personal Facebook page.
When you put that first video out, like that's one thing we find that advisors struggle with is that's their first video that they're going to put out, and they're going to look stupid, and they're established, so they're in their late 40s, early 50s, and they feel like it's going to be embarrassing. What are your thoughts around that when advisors?
I understood. I mean, video? I was embarrassed, but I went. Here's the thing: I went about it wrong. I went about it. People, I've reached out to the community to help people like Eric Boyum and others, and my phone is filled up with a lot of contacts from them, and a lot of it is, what do I talk about? And what happened during your week in conversations with clients? I had a client pass away and had to deal with the trust issue. Okay, well, there's content. And so just talk about what you know and just what's in your head. You've got the knowledge, just spill it out, but don't get too technical with it. Relate to the audience. But and you got to get over yourself. You just got to get over yourself.
And I have to imagine so much the technical side. Like, I imagine if somebody's thinking about, I'm going to sit here and record a video, but I don't like the beginning. I was fumbling around and I don't even know how to edit. I know there's free software. I know there's paid stuff. but like I don't even touch that world. How did you obviously had your degree, probably a little bit of at least passion towards it, wanting to be behind the scenes. How do you get other people going? What's your suggestion to say, like, you got how to work on your craft?
Start with this, simple. And you've already got editing in the camera thing. You edit, you got a start point and a stop point. It's so freaking simple. Don't worry about what's in between. The editing in between, in the beginning, do a 30-second spot, do a minute spot, have little bullet points written out, and so you can glance at it, boom, 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 and it doesn't matter if you're going, so anyway, that's the way people talk. That's the way I'm talking right now. People don't talk like a news anchor. Right. But the editing, just use your phone. It's right there. Splice it in the beginning, splice it in the end, and be done with it.
Keith, anyone that you've seen over the last 5 or 6 months, or 8 months of the later half of this pandemic that has kind of emerged as doing a really good job, that surprised you, that's impressed you, that you feel like, is just come out of the gate hard?
Eric Boyum was one. Actually, and Sid Misra. Sid
stepped up recently.
Sid was all over the place with static posts, commenting on everybody's. I know what he's doing. He's playing the game of the algorithm, fine. And every once in a while he would do a video. Every once in a while. And then he called, he asked, "Hey, can I call you?" Sure. And we were talking about videos and so forth. I said, you got to step it up. And his first few videos were just kind of super boring, and you could tell he was a little uncomfortable. But now you're seeing him do more and more and more, and the confidence level has just boosted. And that's the key. You got to keep doing it. And so what? You bomb the first few times, you get your rhythm. He's got a rhythm going on. Eric Boyne, the same way. I first started working with him, and I think he works with you guys, but when I first started working with him way back last year, he was like, it's when I told everybody, "Hey, call me, I'm out here." And I think I criticized one of his first videos, it's like, "You're up next. This is what you did wrong." And then, he called me, and he was afraid to get out there. I said, "Just sit down and just do it." He had all this crap already in his basement, and he went all out with the equipment. And that now you've seen him just really step up in the confidence, and he's getting a little less commercial. In the beginning, it was more commercially like that, but now he's hitting his stride.
I see definitely. Not to just hone in on Eric, but that he's feeling a lot more and getting a lot more comfortable in his videos. And you can see that. I can see that with Sid as well. So if Sid's here, shout out for doing a good job and videos and changing it up. What do you think? What does that come from, Keith? Do you think, did you give any technical insight? Did you say, look, this is the process, this is how you do it? Or do you feel like you had to do you feel like you're giving advisors permission? What do you think they need to get started?
They need a boost. They're afraid to get it. It's the same old thing. David Scott, I don't know if you know that fella. I've talked with him. He's another LPL advisor. And it was so funny. He's an excited guy about wanting to do videos and things like that. And I said, well, get these lights, get this and that. And I can't turn it around right now, but you know what a softbox light is, right?
Sure.
And so it's got the little film over it to soften it up. Well, he says, I got this. What do you think? And he did a test video. He didn't have the film over it. And it was just like that. And I saw it. And I said, well, you didn't put that. He said, wait, I thought that was wrapping material. He threw it away. He had to go outside and get in the...
That's great. That's great. And people just don't know. Like you're just starting things for the first time, trying new stuff, like getting used to equipment. I think it can feel overwhelming. But one of the things I've realized is I'm playing this game and talking to advisors all the time is between helping people do something they're good at, but pushing them to try something new because what they're good at may be something they've never tried before. I find that most advisors are more creative than they give themselves credit for. And when you push them to get out and do whatever their version of content is, it's some of it's really good and it pops out. You know, a good example is Eric and Sid and these guys that coming out just doing more stuff. So it's
you
cool
find your style.
Yeah.
Once you get going, you don't know what your style. I mean, like I said in the beginning, I forgot the advisor's name, but I wanted to, and he's not even in the tribe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was 2 or 3 years ago. I said, I want to be like he's super professional, and his cadence, and I tried to mimic him, and that's not me. That was not me at all. And so you'll find yourself the more you do it, and like Ruff, that's not, there's no way I can talk a mile a minute. I mean, he's a freak of nature. He doesn't need all of this crap. He's him. And he sent me something from Gary Vee. I think it was on TikTok. It was a little short, where somebody was, how people will ask him and he'll just say, F that, and somebody asked, is it better just to post crappy stuff all the time, or to make sure you have super good production value? He says, post all the time. Forget about the production value. If you have to rely on that, you're insecure. And I said, I guess I'm insecure.
But that's your style, though. And, I love what you just said, because I feel like that's what gets in the way of so many is like, we often hear, Ryan and I, behind the scenes, people hold what you do on a production level to a very high standard, as they should. You do a terrific job. And I think that gets in the way of many people starting, because they think, if I can't meet that level, that expectation, what am I doing out here?
Yeah, and I've said it before, a lot of what I do is hobby. Like the movie stuff, like what was the last one? You Complete Me, the Tom Cruise thing?
Yeah.
That took 25 plus hours to do.
All the voices of the women and everything you added in, it had to be.
That took
so much time.
99.9% of the advisors out there, I'm not going to go through that. I don't even want to. Don't.
Yeah. Right.
Leave that to me.
Yeah. And I think that's the point too, is that everybody has their own style. You and Sid do videos, like Zach does videos. Zach's a good example too of somebody who wasn't creating that much content, but
Zach
somebody who had is an engineer in the background can also pop up and create great content. But again, pushing that example. So it's.
Hey, Keith, do you guys get asked? Do you specifically get asked at all from the back office to provide any coaching or anything like that?
No. The only thing that I see from the back office.
Warnings.
That TikTok was a huge problem and pissed me off big time. We'll get into that later. But the only thing I see is advisors connecting with me, and they'll send me a message. Katie Maxwell, marketing, Sarah LeBlanc said I should connect with you to get some ideas. But none of the marketing people have ever, they, to my knowledge, never have engaged on what I post.
I find that so crazy, and I don't want to go down that road too far, but the fact that they don't want to endorse, they can't maybe even endorse you guys in public, but then they endorse you in the DMs is ironic to me.
Yeah. Maybe, like Ruff, the same way, we push the envelope sometimes.
You do a great job with it.
I'd say the envelope is gone, Can
you see that?
What do we got there?
Truthful Mutual banner.
Nice.
Right above the Purple Rain album.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice, right where it belongs. That's great. What do you feel like something? Let's try to give, I guess, some direct value to people. What's something you feel like you do that's either special to add to content, or can save somebody some time, or something about your process you feel like you've learned over the years with your hobby that you think could help somebody?
Well, the editing is one thing, but like I said, a lot of people aren't going to get into that. I'm seeing more and more people add the little clips, the little movie clips, the little tidbits. That adds a little special, and that's not hard to do at all. You got to be aware of music and stuff like that. But If I could say the biggest problem I see with creators video, number one is audio. Audio is the biggest thing, believe it or not. It's not this camera. And there's nothing wrong with the iPhone in your office, but 9 times out of 10, it sounds like you're in an echo chamber. If you simply get a wireless lapel mic, and they're like $20-$30, it's nothing. It adds a whole big deal to it. Audio is the biggest thing. Framing is the next biggest thing that I see, where they'll have, what I'll see is they're in their office, right? Maybe they got a TV, big screen TV, because it's got their logo splashed all over it, and they want to show it off, so they're down here just so you can see that. Hi, I'm Keith Wilson. Framing. Forget people want to see you.
Yeah.
Forget your little logo or
You
or
just
a
made a
picture.
commercial for us. I'm definitely clipping that.
That drives me bananas. Because what are you're gonna scroll?
Yeah.
Because listen, LinkedIn, Facebook, you're a door-to-door salesman, and you're selling meat. You may not come knock on the door and say, "Do you want to buy meat?" You're saying, "Hey, do you know what the difference is between ground chuck and ground beef?" No, I don't care. Scroll. Or, what is the difference? Oh, thank you very much. The next day you show up and say, "Hey, do you know what the proper internal temperature of a T-bone steak should be?" No, I don't care. Or, no, I'm interested. And you keep showing up at the door and you're giving education about the meat, and eventually say, "By the way, I got a truck full of meat."
Agreed.
For those people that are saying, "Yeah, I want to know about ground chuck. Yeah, I want to know about that." So that's what LinkedIn. Now YouTube, totally different. YouTube is the grocery store. So they're not coming to your door every day. You're going to say, I want a steak. And you go to the grocery store. Wait a minute, you got chicken too? You got this information too? And you've got everything. So they're coming to you. YouTube's the second largest search engine behind Google, number one. And that is really where I'm concentrating my efforts.
I think we can even argue too. That was an awesome clip, by the way. But I would even argue too that people are getting to YouTube from they're searching on Google. YouTube's popping up, and they're going there anyway. It's really all getting. Even when you want something from YouTube, sometimes you go on Google.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the more content you have on YouTube, the more you're going to pop up on the search engine of Google. And then what I've learned is, if you've got that content and they know your IPS address and all that stuff, somebody in Greensboro, North Carolina, searching for a topic on Roth IRA or whatever, I'm going to pop up on their list first because of the demographics and the geography, I should say.
Yeah, no, I love it. Let's dig in on the YouTube thing, because our friend Mitch posted, I don't know, last weekend or whatnot, about like his regret of not doubling down on YouTube in 2009. And my theory is, I still think we're early. I know that it's a super mature platform, but for the mainstream, most people, we're still in the middle of the game here. What are your thoughts on that?
On YouTube, absolutely. Like I said, I'm concentrating my efforts there, and I'm seeing subscribers build. And the thing is, in the early days of YouTube, in the early days is like 2 years ago, I started doing all the goofy stuff.
Yeah.
And just kind of like what I do in LinkedIn, and 90% goofy, 10% information. My most popular video on YouTube is one I did a year or two ago on what is the 1099B tax form. Right?
Isn't that crazy?
And it's the most viewed of all. It's the most disliked of all. I mean, like, I got 100 and some odd thumbs down. I don't even think I had one thumbs up.
Why?
Here's why. Because it started out goofy, and it wasn't really deep on the 1099. So we can't do comments.
Yeah.
If we could have comments on YouTube, oh my gosh. But I can imagine, because it was during tax season at that point, I can imagine people doing their own taxes. Wait a minute, what is this 1099? I'm going to go to YouTube. okay, what is it? Oh, I got to see this. And here's somebody goofy. He's not telling me anything. And I can imagine if they could comment what they would say. So that kind of dawned on me about that. So my YouTube videos now, maybe the intro, I'll add a little something like a 10-second, like I did like with my wife in the background laughing at me.
Yeah.
10 seconds, but it's really deep. And I'm starting to do more screen shares, showing people exactly how to do it.
So YouTube, you're going education. You're pushing, yeah.
It's all education.
I love that lesson that you learned. I feel like by doing that and realizing like the title was there, people were interested in the topic, but people were upset because you were like, here's what you're going to get. And then they got there and didn't get it. And then that's, that's going to be a thumbs down. So, and
I was so proud of that video because I had all these forms in front of me and I'm swinging them around and, stupid. I mean, probably would work on Facebook or LinkedIn, but
whether it's YouTube or not, I have one big thing I want to ask you is how do you feel about starting a video? I feel like that's so important, especially in, let's talk about how difficult it can be in a world of scrolling. Like, how do you feel like an advisor should start a video? Do you like, hi, I'm Keith Wilson from, this is my firm and talk and go from there? How do you feel like advisors should begin a video?
You got to have the hook right off the beginning. I'm talking about LinkedIn or Facebook, because like you said, scroll. Nothing wrong with a funny right with the intro and say, what is this guy talking about? I got to learn more. And, whatever hook. Hey, wait, don't file that tax return yet. You got to learn about this. Wait, so it's the hook. Instead of, I'll make up a name. Hi, I'm Justin Jones with Edward Jones. I want to talk to,
Yeah. Gone.
The hook.
Yeah. The hook. How much time do you spend thinking about the strategy of your video? Like how you're going to post it, when you're going to post it, I guess, and everything that goes into it? Are you just deep in creating and my art is done out?
I've got a social media calendar that I created in a simple template from Excel, just a calendar. So I've got it all laid out for each month. I don't have the topic. I have the content. Static post Tuesday the 11th, picture this, movie clip here, TikTok here. So that helps me tremendously, even though the contents, I know what I'm going to have to do for that week. I think what most people do is, I got to post something. Let's figure something out. So if you have the outline and mix it up, slide decks, static post, personal stuff.
Polls. Sorry.
I'm so sick of this.
I didn't want anyone to dig in. So I love putting out my movie polls, and now I feel like I can't do it on Sunday because it's so flooded. I'm going to be another one. It was enjoyable for just a little bit, and LinkedIn marketing world stole it from us.
Well, there's
polls about polls. It's never going to end. This is what LinkedIn does.
I just did a poll.
Yes. Now we're talking about a poll about a poll. It's LinkedIn. It's Linkception.
Well, polls are nice and it's fine if you truly want to know something, but it gets engagement. And there's this one dude that does polls all the time.
What's up, Simon? If you're out there. It's fun. It's fun. A little overdone, sure, but I enjoy a poll. I think I'm looking at it like, again, it's becoming one of those things like pop-ups where when I see a poll, I feel like inside I almost scroll faster, like whether I want to or not. If it's somebody I really like or if it's a brand that somebody has, I'm always looking at everything they do. But sometimes when I see a poll, I'm just like, just another one.
Let's not derail it. I just had to tease Keith with it. But a question I do have for you, like dead serious, and this is where my mind goes with this. If you had more time, what would you be doing?
If I had more time, what would I be doing?
More time. All right, let me give you more clarity here. If you had more time in the office, in your business, what would you be pushing? What can you not get to because you just don't have the time to be doing it?
This is a building year. That's okay. I brought my son on. I'm onboarding him. He's going to sit next week for the 7.
What's up, Jack? Good luck.
Yeah. And his office is right across the hall from mine. He comes in and all he does is study. This guy, he's wanting to do it. It's not just like daddy's coattails. And he'll come in and he'll say, we need to market here. With his young mind, I said, this is what I need. I'm going to answer your question. So we're both in the camp. We're going to get our EA this year.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
We're going to start with that tax return. And I've done tax returns for just a handful of clients. And I stopped in 2019, I believe, maybe 2020. And now I want to get back into it and open up that area. Number one, it makes you a good advisor to know what these taxes are. Number two, marketing. Everybody needs their taxes done. And when I did those handful of clients, I did get referrals and I got business from it on that other side. So if I had more time, it would be really education. Because I want to also get my RICP this year too, and the CTP. So that's education is what I'm shooting for, so I can market in the tax areas as well as what I'm doing now.
I love that. I expected you to go down the
entertainment world.
Content creation world. I really did, and I think that's such a great zig to my expectation.
That was it was the best answer I feel like you could have gave, because one of the things I feel like I've been talking about a lot recently, or just sprinkling in, is like some of the content's bad because young advisors don't know what to say because they don't know enough about financial planning to add value. You don't know that tax rule, you don't know that thing, so you're learning and you're building. But I always think about that the same. You know, you're going to be able to talk about certain topics and rules and display it in your own creative way. By knowing all that, it opens up a whole venue, an avenue of content for you. So being a good advisor, knowing what you're really talking about, is one of the first keys to being able to, I feel like, show somebody something in a simple way that they can understand it. And education gets you there. And it's one of the biggest things that I help is content, is actually knowing what the hell you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And I'm excited with Jack because now I've got another character, and I
wanted to be an advisor, and you're like, put the hat on.
No, I can market him. I mean, I just bought some stools. I've got a little table. I mean, I got 2 here. We're gonna do Facebook Live, number 1, and then that financial guy show on YouTube, where it's just father-son, and I think people will eat that up.
Yep, they will. I totally love that, and I agree with that. Keith, what are your and Jack's thoughts? Like, does he look at the content creation like you do? Is he going to create his own channel, his own brand, or are you pushing?
We're going to start with mine since it's already established on YouTube. And I've seen some other shows. They're not father and son, but it's 2 advisors, and they kind of play off each other. He's big time. I mean, right from the beginning, he was saying, I've got great ideas about videos and the funny stuff. And I said, Jack, you're not that funny. He really is, though. But no, in the beginning, it's that financial guy.
Nice. What are you guys doing, I guess, besides that show? Is there anything else you guys are building content-wise, or how do you bring Jack into your world? Was he already on TikTok and his phone and anything else, or were you the catalyst to him even creating content?
No, he's on Instagram. He did a lot of modeling in high school and so forth. So he's very good in front of the camera. Good-looking kid and all that stuff, but he's concentrating on passing the exams. So
yeah. Selling a put, or is it buying a call?
Yeah. He'll come to the office and say, Are you protecting that call? Are you protecting that long position?
Yeah.
I said, do you mean hedge?
It's all right. It's pretty basic, I feel like.
Yeah, I just want to open it up and make sure if anybody has questions that we get questions in for Keith.
Yeah, absolutely. Throw in your questions. What are you guys doing right now that you think, Keith could help you with? Is there something with video that you think is scaring you away? And I also touch back. I love the other answer you gave, which is the biggest tip about people's video is improving audio, because I think audio is one of the most important things out of everything. When you think of something that's quality, you want to hear that crisp voice, which I should have brought my mic. Funny, I'm having that conversation.
People can forget. Yeah. They can forgive a crappy video if you've got clear, crisp sound.
True. If you can't hear it, or it's fuzzy, or you're annoyed, or something.
I mean, you look at Ruff. He just shoots crappy videos, but we can hear him. Is he?
I hope he's here. Awesome. What else did I want to say? I had something else. There was a comment that threw out where I was looking at.
I just want to ask, just selfishly, what kind of success stories do you feel like your content creation have created for you and your business?
Yeah, evidently I'm not doing as well as Nick and Ruff. I mean, Ruff will show me, an email. Hey, I've got this. I saw this video. I'm like, crap. I'm LinkedIn. I've had a couple of DMs. This is where I'm seeing traction, though. Never before have I gotten just cold calls out of the blue, and I've gotten dozens of them this year. Cold calls, and they're asking about whatever stock or this or that, the other, and most of it's financial plans that they really, really need, which leads me to the asset. So that's the success is Google and YouTube. And look, here's another tip for these advisors out there on Google, and it's called Google Reviews. And I point blank ask my clients, give me a Google review. I'll send you the link to do it. And so far I've gotten 10. I've got 10 Google reviews. They're all 5 stars on all this wonderful stuff. And so that's the other thing about Google. The more Google reviews, somebody's typing in financial advisor in Greensboro or whatever, the more Google reviews, and I've asked them. They said, you were right on top. You've got more reviews than anybody else. They're all positive. And then that also leads into the YouTube. People actually call and say, I saw your video on YouTube.
I mean,
the Facebook, here's the other thing. Every week I email clients and prospects. It's like the weekly rundown. And it's just bullet points of what happened that week. COVID cases coming down. Market is up. This is why. Unemployment looks great. Outlook is fine. Here's the video of the week. And whatever YouTube video I did that week, I put the link. And then, be sure to share with your friends. So that's the other thing, the client loyalty. You're always in their face, and you're sending a video of the week. And people will call. I've had a couple of weeks ago, client says, I sent this video on the Biden tax plan to my cousin in California. They're all upset about this, and they'll be calling you. So that's where I'm getting traction.
I think you're playing that game really well. I think, as I look at your foundation or your digital ecosystem, I think you're playing that reverse inquiry, that search game extremely well.
Think how hard that is. Somebody to find your YouTube and pick up the phone and call you.
Yeah.
That's a very, very difficult.
And they were local.
That's a huge
and they were local.
And I think that has power to it. I think that's something I think that's something we should hone in on if we had like an extra second, was to say that we always think social. You made the example of somebody in California and things, that's happening. But the power of somebody looking at your YouTube, seeing some substance to it, and realizing you're local has a lot of power too. Putting on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, I think people always think they're talking to the world. And I'm thinking there's somebody who's, next street over who cares about that, realizes how close you are and calls you just because they know they can drive to you, or there's just something comfortable feeling about being close.
UPS is there.
Yeah. That squirrel got way too close to the window. It says,
I'm telling you, UPS comes here every day. Amazon.
Yeah.
And because my wife is every freaking day Amazon.
None of your stuff.
Yeah, she said the same thing when you're phone.
Yeah. You're
another camera, another light. Yeah. But he comes every day, and then one day he stopped by, knocked on the door, and said, "Is your wife okay? Because we have no orders today."
That's great. Here is, and if I could go through, it wasn't necessarily a question, but a comment. Where is it? I just had it right up. Nick mentioned when we were talking about Sid. Sid has also gotten dialed into who he is talking to. Do you feel like with your creating content and your now success on YouTube that your funny journey and being goofy has now met with the substance where now you're starting to figure out like, okay, this is who I'm talking to, and now do you feel like that's why it's starting to work?
No.
Nice.
I'm not there, and that's
Good question, good answer.
no.
What do you feel like do you find difficulty creating content and struggling with topics even though you have your skeleton because you're like, I don't know who this should go to?
That's a very good question, and sometimes I really do. What my goal, and I don't always meet this goal. Well, one goal I meet is I'm definitely putting a YouTube video out once a week, sometimes 2 a week. Without fail, I'm doing it. And my goal is, say on Monday, I've got to think of the topic that I want. And some of it's research. Even though I know about Roth conversions, there might be a little tidbit that I really didn't, I forgot about. I said, that's cool. So I got to do research on that. And so writing a script for what I want to do. And then I shoot on the weekend. And I've gotten it down for a YouTube video because there is some editing to that. And there's, you got to put up graphics and things like that to make, you just don't want to talk for 5 minutes. You got to break it up. But I've gotten it down to where I can do a YouTube video in 2 hours. And that's kind of big. It used to be 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
not 2 hours straight.
You mentioned that of how
how
long
it used to be
you.
6, 7, 8 hours for a YouTube video. But I've gotten it down to where now I can do it in almost one take. A lot of times I'll do a take and I said, that's good, but let's do it again. And then I'll end up using the first take. Yeah. So that's huge. And then now I find myself, I'm editing on the couch. I've gotten to that point where I can edit on the couch almost. So that's really good. So yeah, sometimes I struggle with the content. And what I'll do is I'll just go on Market Watch, CNBC, what's trending, what's hot. Always the Biden tax plan, stimulus. And I think, Corey, one time you said something about, nobody cares about the topic of the day. And mainly because content people, they have to get all this stuff approved before, and you miss the boat. If it takes 2 weeks, that part I get, I understand. But you could simply do a static post on it, if a video. We're very fortunate with LPL. I get a script approved within the day, within a couple hours sometimes.
Yeah.
I think I want to clarify that because I did say that, and I want to clarify. I think explaining the topic of the day is a big one. I think trying to be CNN and break the news is foolish. So you explaining the Biden tax plan, you explaining how the ramifications of the news can affect you, I love that because I think people need that.
Yeah.
You trying to become the breaking news,
getting the scoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to do that now. You can do that with a static post.
Sure.
Like Wednesday when Biden announced it was all over the news, and it's reported that this is going to. So hey, check this out, and this is how it's going to affect you possibly. And that's kind of a scoop with a static post, but still some advisors have got to get that approved first, and you can't do it.
Here's a direct question from our friend Eric. A little bit off topic, but wanted to get it before you left.
That's good.
What's the best way to eliminate room echo?
I love it,
sounding
Eric.
like you're in a cave.
All right. So what you do is you got your camera in front of you, right? and you're right here, put a blanket, get your 2 tripods like, I've got that thing to hold my backdrop. You put a blanket over it, right behind the camera, so as you're speaking, it's absorbing sound. And if you're in a basement with wood floors, you got to get a carpet, area rug, something that will catch that sound. I mean, you can go as far as getting all that foam crate stuff, but a simple fix, the blanket right behind the camera, even to the side of you, so it will absorb that sound.
Love that. Good idea. Cool. Any other questions, guys? Get them in. But I just want to say to you, Keith, is appreciate you sharing with us how these things are going, and give everybody the real insight that it is really difficult. This is a hard thing that we're trying to do, is monetize attention, gain enough attention where you get new business and actually are acquiring it from us. I think I think Corey and I have those similar growth pains that we're going through as marketers. We know we're talking to advisors, but we're always talking about which one. I think it would be easier if we could focus on a select group or a person. And I think everybody is going through that journey a lot more than they even admit. And it's a gift, or for whatever reason, why somebody like Nick can just pick a specific group and just stick to it. Unless it just works so much, he just let it come to him. But I've always found I always feel it's easier for me to direct somebody else on who they want to talk to than for me to figure out for myself is, okay, who do I love working with? Now I'm going to drive my content behind that.
Yeah.
Hey, Keith, how much B-roll do you have on file? What do you plan on doing with it?
That's another tip, would be to save in your file folders. I call it footage and B-roll, with images, videos, stock videos. I subscribe to a couple of them where I can get footage from that. And so, because sometimes you'll use that over and over again. But hell, let me show you. I'm gonna use the back side of this laptop camera, okay?
Cool.
Hang on, let me get this out.
Close the bank information. One of the things I was thinking, Ryan, was, and it's interesting, I'll have Keith answer it again down the road, but I assumed that he had a backlog of ideas that he just didn't have time to put out. But it sounds like you're putting out, Keith, so much content that you're keeping up with your ideas and having to actually research more things to come up with.
And it probably has to go with, too, that his quality and him really focusing on a topic, he puts a lot of effort once he finds something and does that. So I can imagine, I guess, putting so much into one, maybe it's hard.
Can you hear me?
To just map out.
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah.
You got me? All right.
Gotcha.
Here we go, behind the scenes.
All right, let's take a look. First of all, that's my baby right here, this big old ass light. I love it. So that will fill this whole room. Obviously, there's the set, right?
Yeah.
That's all. This is my basement, guys. I mean, my attic.
Yeah.
Keith, you're on your big screen now. You're the entire screen is your attic.
No, it's not pull down.
And it's
if
you're not watching LinkedIn Live right now, you're missing out. This is Jack when he was 11 years old.
You should do this again. This should be content. You should be like, now that he's an advisor, you're like, oh, let's see how tall you are.
All right, so, I come up here. Obviously, there's my set. What used to be right here was my pool table.
Oh, man.
And so I've got this big boom. Oh, that's a skylight that I had to cover up because it was interfering with my light. There's my rim light.
To get rid of the light.
This is great. So this is wardrobe. This isn't actually
there's my
office.
wardrobe. And then that's a steamer.
Oh, okay.
That
Good.
steamer, if you look up here, that big bar, that's where I hang the green screen. And that green screen is 10 by 15 feet. So it fills up this whole area. And so I'll have to have the camera like right here to shoot over there. And then the rack of crap. You know,
amazing.
There's another backdrop. I used to use that wooden area, wood screen. This area, this used to be a little entertainment room. I had a big screen right there and whatever. It's my little man cave. This is where I shoot all those...
now it's your content cave.
The LinkedIn viral videos, you know, viral. No. That type thing. You know, me sitting there versus the other guys standing there. And that's sometimes I'll write scripts here, and I'll check myself out in the mirror there.
So where did you move all the crap that's supposed to be there in the attic?
Well,
what does your basement look like?
Well, I mean, like this, I used to use this desk to sit behind, and I put it on sliders. Yeah. You made a good comment one time, or a lot of times, Corey, about it would be nice if you had a setup and you just walk in and do it. Now I finally got that.
This is amazing.
A nice boom mic here. This is the mic that I use pretty much all the time. It'll be a boom mic.
So this
is the 3-light setup, guys.
They're just sheets, right? Those bricks. It's just like a cloth.
Yeah.
The brick background.
Just a cloth.
Yep. That's awesome.
Takes a lot of clamps.
A lot of clamps, yeah.
What Keith, in a dream situation, what does your studio look like? Would you move it? Would you go somewhere else? Would you
bigger.
Space?
Here's my challenge. Look at this roof line. So this wall is, you know, not very big. and you got these angles. So I can't utilize the whole area.
Yeah.
Here's my costume.
This is great. It was you, Corey, that had to you said something where it was like Keith would, if he had enough space in his attic, it would be sitting a camera that could slide across.
Oh yeah, the slider.
Yes, I want those.
Yeah, you're gonna have strings coming down, so when you pull something, it just swoops. I can only imagine.
Back here, all the bags that hold everything. It's hard to see. So when I do a shoot with Ruff and I'm going to Charlotte, I got to bag all this equipment up and take it. I'll use that every once in a while, that plant. And then if I'm going to do, like this weekend, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'll usually pull things out that I'm going to need. Those Rode wireless mics are awesome. There's the Lavalier mic.
What are those Rode mics for?
Those are wireless. They're just mics.
But they're for the DSLR.
Like for your
not
phone
for the
or
iPhone.
something.
No. You can plug that into your iPhone.
Okay.
You can. Oh wow.
Yeah, you got there's a special cable that you need,
dongle.
But it's no big deal. And there's the wireless Lavalier. I paid like $25 for. External hard drives.
I have to imagine you're loading up on those.
Each one is 2 or 3 terabytes.
Full?
So if you want to keep them, and then all your cards, card reader, Michael Jackson book, I'll read every once in a while.
What is the data on like one of your videos?
I stopped shooting in 4K, so I do 1080p, and it's several gigabytes.
Yeah. I'd imagine. I can't imagine.
But then 4K. You compress. Got a GoPro. That was one of my first cameras. I don't hardly ever use that. That's a Canon M50. And then my drone. I've got to get back into some more drone shots.
We could have a serious advisor content creation garage sale here.
I got lots of crap that I don't... Like there's a mic in there, there's a mic in there, and then here's one tip got on Play-Doh. I don't know what that's for.
And I wish Anthony was on. He would be commenting all over the place.
Yeah.
Here's one tip I would tell you. Once you get into it, if you like it, and you go on Amazon, or especially Amazon, they'll have, you want this camera? Well, for $20 more, you can get all this other crap.
Yeah.
And like this, it's not even opened. I mean, I've got all this crap that I don't get. So don't buy those stupid kits because they're crappy.
Buy slow.
And then, buy as you need. And there's some tripods and other things like that. Oh, I'll use this as a monitor sometimes, especially when I'm doing green screen, so I can see. Here's the camera that I shoot with. It's a Panasonic XC1000. I love this. It's got 2 mic inputs. There's an external monitor to that. Teleprompter. I need a teleprompter. If Ruff was on here, he would roast me on that because I definitely need it. And then, you splice it up with a wrap. Oh,
let me ask you that. Let me, real quick. When you put your scripts together, Ryan and I talk with our clients a lot about this. Are you putting in the conversational words into the teleprompter, or are you adding those as you're going?
Let me turn that off.
So just to clarify, when you write a script, obviously it when you read it, it sounds read. Are you?
I got you. I got you. I write it as I'm writing. It's as if I'm talking. Okay. I'll put in the words like, so this is what you do here. Hey, yes. Because I used to write it like it was a blog post or something like that. And then when I would put it on the teleprompter, it sounded so fake. And I couldn't even spice it up. And so I found out you write as you speak. And it doesn't look good on paper. In fact, when I would send it to Annie to submit, she would say, what is all this? Hey, you, so, and this is not grammatically correct. I said, that's how I talk. Mm-hmm. And I can imagine my compliance guys saying the same thing. So then when I put it on the teleprompter, which is basically this Surface Pro, which is a tablet, and I'll slide it in there, and I've got a teleprompter app. So when I do that, I've got the speed just right, and even I'll take some spaces to let me take a breath or something like that. And now I've got it to where those are kind of bullet points, and I can still add to it, where hopefully it doesn't sound like a teleprompter that I'm reading it.
I don't think your content sounds that way at all. That's why I wanted to ask, because I know you're adding those human contextual words to it, but most people don't write those when they put a script together.
Right. I write them.
I was going to say, for somebody who doesn't feel like they can just get on and wing it, I feel like you do a really good job of self-awareness and knowing what you need to put yourself in that position so it sounds really human. Because I think most people in your position come off very robot-y because they don't add those factors in. Because when you're scripting it, and especially if you get a pre-approved script, like it's always going to sound, automated or right. Like you said, like a blog post.
And I used to early on with scripts like FMG or Broadridge, they had all kinds of little articles. I said, well, there's a script right there. Fine. And it's the same thing. I said, this, number one, it wasn't a lot of meat on the bone. Mm-hmm. None of those are. People need to stop doing nothing against Broadridge or FMG and all that stuff. But you've said it time and time again, the canned stuff sends you a link to somewhere else. And even in the description, check this out. Well, no, I'm not going to check this out. Mm-hmm. There's no meat on that bone.
Yeah.
Keith, I'm so glad we got to have this time this morning. Sorry, Ryan. I appreciate you showing us around. That was something just out of my own selfish curiosity. Wanted to see.
Yeah. All right. I showed you mine. Let's see yours.
Well, we have to wrap because we have a client meeting coming up. But next time,
it's just
okay. Cool.
Tools and dead fish and.
Is it really? Are you in your garage?
That's a callback from anybody.
Are you in your garage, Corey?
No, I am in my unfinished basement that I built a wall to.
Actually, a wall like a 2x4s and.
What is it? It's 7 feet tall by I think 9 feet. So
and you just panels nailed to it.
Yep, and then
That's what I'm thinking about doing.
Yeah.
I'm at my parents' house, and I can prove that because Here's a picture of me.
That's awesome.
I'm in my old room right now. So I came up here to do the show because I had to bring my kids here, and just timing how it worked out. So Corey, you remember I did the webinar from here. I didn't know if you knew that, but I was sitting in my own room. That's my senior
awesome.
picture.
Handsome devil.
I never got my hair, as you can see,
hair.
Never got my hair cut ever for anything. So when you see my hair super long, I've never cared ever, and it started long before MCO. Again, appreciate stealing an hour of your time, Keith, digging into your process and being open about how difficult this thing can be and how much time it can take. Because I think it's a mixture of, without trying to sound too corny, it's a mixture of a journey of getting good enough to be able to grab people's attention, as well as figuring out what do people really want and what do I really want? Who do I really want to talk to? They seem basic, like fundamental questions, but they're really hard to answer, and it takes a lot of work to get there. And I think you're starting to feel the success, and I'll be excited to bring you back on and you talk about how, your phone's ringing off the hook because you've been digging into YouTube and you're all over Google. And I think it's a good focus, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
I got intimate with my attic with you.
Yeah.
I
hope
great. You enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Always appreciate having you on, and I feel like it was a lot quieter without Ruff here. But it's nice to get. It's nice to have you show your expertise and where you come along and show how you're editing videos and how you do stuff. I think a lot of advisors are looking up to the things you do. And I think it's good to bring you on and humanize it too, because as much as people respect you, it scares people because they see the quality and they go, I don't want to compete with that. And it's, we can go over 1,000 times. That's the wrong way to do it. But again, that's why I appreciate you showing everybody, what it's really like.
Yeah. And you got to have fun with it along the way too. And those of you out there, I'll say it again, if you have technical questions about stuff, hit me up. I'll be happy to help you. Absolutely. I'm not going to help you with marketing. I'm going to help you with that's you guys.
Yeah, no, completely different. But again, technical questions, specific video questions, Keith is all over it. As well as Zach with the engineering. We got, we're all advisors, but everybody has hobbies and talents and things outside of this and skills that we've built over time. So it's cool to meet and see what everybody's good at. I find myself now, anytime I need something, I come right to LinkedIn and I think, who do I know? And how can I work with them first? So anybody who needs, anything, you already know to reach out to Keith, but there's your second reminder.
Keith, happy Easter. Have a great weekend.
You too. I got to go mow my yard now.
Yeah, awesome. I'm excited for the TikTok. I can't wait.
Yep.
I'm getting ready to shoot the TikTok about mowing the yard, so look out for that.
I absolutely will. Well, real quick, when is the next episode of Truthful Mutual? Is there? I saw a teaser from Ruff. Do you have anything to give us before I kick you out?
We don't have specific dates. Okay. Most likely this month. We're gonna have a lot of guest stars on this one.
I can't wait. I already know.
We're gonna have some LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Hot shots. People that are in this tribe.
Yeah. It's gonna be exciting. I can't wait for that. So again, appreciate your time and enjoy mowing the lawn. I'm sure it's gonna look great.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, man.
Right in the middle of this sentence. Bye. No, sorry, Keith. I kicked you out too quick. I appreciate him sharing that stuff and showing people that even as a seasoned advisor and creating content, you're always stepping outside of your comfort zone, and everybody has that journey or thing you're going through, and everybody's trying to be successful online. It takes everybody a different amount of time, especially when you're figuring out external and internal questions. Marketing is a world in itself, but something I love doing, something I love trying to figure out, this like endless game. I love trying to be a student of this. So I appreciate having people on like Keith where we get a little granular, but also get to, focus on what marketing is really like, what it looks like to live marketing.
I think my biggest takeaway from this conversation today, for everybody watching, for myself, for you, for just the audience in general, is, people are afraid to put out content because they feel like it doesn't match the level that Keith puts out content. you know what's so cool is that he's learning in real time as well, and he's evolving and changing and saying, this doesn't work, this does. I don't have time to do this, but I want to do it more. And that's why I believe in you need to be working with someone, or at least working towards evolution and progress. And that's my biggest takeaway from this.
And it could be zero, you know, for Keith and somebody who has a hobby. It could be, you know, maybe you're getting trickling in a few relationships. Maybe it's zero for the first 2 years, and then year 3 you're getting the phone calls, and year 4 you have 10 people come in for some reason. So it's hard to quantify and figure that out. We live it with MCO and say we're putting out a show all the time. We're always putting out content. How come people are jumping in here and jumping in here? Why do we feel the attention in March and we didn't in February? And it's just how it is. It's just how it goes. It's just something you got to deal with. It's the unquantifiable thing, and where we have to throw in a little bit of patience on top of everything else we're doing.
No, for sure. Let's wrap. That was a good show. Good episode. Guys, thanks for sticking around. Awesome. Happy Friday. If you celebrate Easter, have a happy Easter. And if not, have a terrific weekend. But thanks for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it easy, guys. Have a good day. Where are we? We're off the record.
All right. I've got some vaccinated family coming over in a little bit, so this will be interesting. First time we've had people at our house in a long time.
Wow, sweet. So your kids are going to school?
My kids have been in school all year.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. How's that been? Is it nerve-wracking?
The school has done such a good job. We weren't going to send them until literally the night before. We had a call with the principal. They're in parochial school, so it's not it. They've just done a terrific job. But we started to see last week, I shared with you, I was getting email after email after email. Student in 8th grade, student in 6th grade, student in 2nd grade. And then they send the whole class virtual when they get COVID. And it's the sports are it's the kids in the sports that are starting to share it, which is the next situation, because the kids aren't going to be vaccinated. So the adults are all going to be good.
And the issue is always going to be too, I notice when it gets warmer, I don't know anything about how viruses travel in temperature, but I do know that people are outside a lot more and all together, and everybody has this theory where it's like, we're outside, it's better than being in a room. Maybe your spit didn't get in my mouth. And I'm like,
trust me, 10 kids circling around a soccer ball.
That's what I'm saying. It's been annoying as hell. I can't wait for whatever this means to be over, or for everybody to whatever acceptance or passing through when it's done.
We'll live with it. It's going to just be a new flu.
Going back to regular life, and feeling a little bit of normalcy. I did not train this week. I spent probably 6 hours on Kajabi yesterday or so, digging through and making sure I really want that thing done and out of the way. So that would be I think we should have somebody possibly, I'm going to watch a few videos, but my guess is we should have somebody look at that.
Let me know. I put a job rec out, and I got a bunch of people.
It is confusing, dude. My brain thinks about it like this. We have a members world, and obviously you have a not signed in and a signed in. And I get those tabs are there. What I don't understand is, once somebody signs in, how do you tell them to only go to the members pages? You know, what sticks them to those pages? That's where I feel lost there, because everybody's going to sign in and get. I know there's a few pages that are fine because they're by themselves. It's like, oh, you sign in, you go here. That now you're in the dashboard. But like, then I guess, do they stay in that world? I have my brain can't map the journey of where somebody's going to be, and I think somebody who knows Kajabi really well is probably like, oh, you're 90% there. You just have to do
that's
this.
What I think we should explore. I'm gonna seriously though. I'm gonna jump, and then you and I can talk about it. I do want to get that ironed out.
Yeah. So, cool.
Cheers.
All right, fellas. See you guys later. Good talking to you today. Have a great Friday.